Rat, Subterranean News, 1968-69. We lived in the eye of a political and cultural hurricane, the most intense period for the movement. Rat made news as well as reported it.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine.
In those early days from Austin, we would often hop in the car and we'd get a call and some disaster was happening, primarily Mississippi, sometimes Alabama. SDS was Students for Democratic Society, which I was an officer of, was an ally of SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, and they had all these things, and when crises would come, people would rally down and run over and try to be supportive. And sometimes it was intimidating to the local authorities because all these people would come and they weren't just able to operate with impunity and no observation. They couldn't just go down and burn down the church as usual because there were people from all over and the word would start getting out. So there wasn't an internet, but there was enough people from enough different places that it would be national news in time. There was another organization called SOC, Southern Student Organizing Committee, which the white campuses and students in the South formed this organization to end segregation in the South. And I would go to meetings of them in Atlanta, and we would have sometimes strategies sessions with CORE, Congress of Racial Equality, that James Farmer was the head of, and SNCC, whose offices were in Atlanta. So there was a good bit of interchange, and you wound up jumping in the car and driving all night and being someplace in Mississippi the next day, not infrequently, which gave me a lot of grassroots understanding of what was really going on and how the system worked and how the federal system didn't give any support. Segregationist was a tight, tough system. I think there was maybe 3 whites in SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, and it wasn't because SNCC was racist, it's just Southern whites. It was too big of a leap. I think there was Jack Minnis, who wrote a lot of papers, and a good friend of mine, D. Gorton, who was at the University of Mississippi, a photographer later. He worked some for SNCC and was the SDS main photographer for years. D was Mississippian through and through. They hated him in the dorm on his birthday. The people on his floor of the dorm gave him a birthday cake. But because he was working with SNCC and he didn't trust, why would they give me a birthday cake? They hate me. He didn't eat it and had it tested, and they had made poison, like the kind of poison that kills you, rat poison or something. So if he'd eaten his cake, they were trying to poison him and kill him. That's real stuff. And you have to have, as a college kid, be together enough to think, well, it's odd they'd give me a birthday cake and find out that it's tested for poison. People like Dee had an incredible journey because their lives were often threatened, but there's different levels of getting your life threatened. Lots of times people threaten my life, but it wasn't that. We're going to kill you, rednecks in some place in the South, or all that kind of stuff. Well, maybe in special circumstances, they got me isolated late at night in an alley, they might kill me or try. But basically, that's not what I call a serious death threat. Sometimes we're going to kill you means we're going to get a sniper rifle and watch your routine and shoot you.
Back 10, he has been shot. Okay, TAC 10 advising King has been shot, 604. TAC 11, do you want us to pull down? Check TAC 11, pull down. Okay, TAC 11. In the area? A signal Q. King has been shot.
And that's the kind of thing that Dee Gorton would have to be careful of, because when they told Dee, being a Mississippi guy, that they thought that was betrayal, he had to think that they were really going to kill him if they could. So the birthday cake was just one incident. I liked Dee so much because he was always questioning what he was doing. He came to me one time with all these great photographs and said, "My photographs are terrible. I've been thinking about this." He was reading about the Chinese Revolution, and he said, I said, "These are great images." He said, "No, they're not showing people in struggle. I'm showing the conditions, I'm showing the exploitation, but I need to show the struggle against the exploitation, not this teary, oh, look at these poor people." That's a liberal approach. He wanted to show the resistance. And he thought about it and decided, I need to change how I photograph, what he photographs, what moment. Any great photographer captures the moment. What moment?
Basin Street is a street where
Dee was a profound, in an era where there were many profound, inspirational people, because he had to break with everything in his roots. It wasn't like New York, oh good, you're being socially active when you went home at Christmas or Yom Kippur or something. It was never come back to this town and never visit your family's house again. You can't ever come to the university that you're an alum of, because we'll all want to kill you. That sort of thing. And people were being killed. Those people like Dee Gorton were not just great artists, but gave power to the whole movement. Like, so if he's working the SDS office in Chicago, which he did, this guy's faced real stuff. And it gives strength to all the other people.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light